All right, in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to become a content writer and get paid for your words. I'm going to be broadening out the scope of this channel, talking about different ways to make money writing. And yeah, the channel is going to evolve over time. So to make sure you are in touch and in tune with that evolution, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell. It's super important so you can get brand new videos like this with information on how to help you make money with your words. All right, let's get right to the topic. So a lot of people have asked me about being a content writer or being a freelancer and how to get paid doing it. So I have some experience in this arena, and I'm going to come at it from a little bit of a different angle that you might not have thought of, right? So for me, I personally have a small handful of freelance writing jobs that I do, but my time is very important and I value the quality of my work. So my current rate to write a blog post that's 1,500 to 2,000 words long is $600. And companies pay me $600 per post for the reasons that I'm going to explain in this video. And so for you, I'm going to talk about some steps that you should take in addition to trying to become a content writer that's going to help. It's going to make it easier for you to make money with your words, right? So step number one, the first thing you want to do is go onto medium.com and start learning how to write on the platform specifically, right? So I bang the drum about Medium over and over and over again. So what does Medium have anything to do with content writing? Well, number one, where do you think I got some of those highly paid content writing jobs from? So there's a couple different ways that you can get freelancing jobs from Medium. One is that companies will literally just reach out to you and ask you if you want to write articles for their website, right? So I've had this happen at this point dozens of times, right? I don't really go out of my way to get freelancing jobs. Usually they come to me. And what happens is, you have to think about it. You have to think about a place like Medium as much more than a place for you to earn money through their partner program, which is awesome, but there's so much more to it, right? So say you're looking for writing talent. You need copy done for your website. You need blog posts for your company so that you can get your SEO up. You need an email funnel created, right? Why wouldn't you go to one of the most highly trafficked websites on planet Earth that is filled with writers? Like, why would you go anywhere else to look for talent? It's the perfect sourcing spot to find people who want to write and who you could pay, right? So I've gotten tons of freelance jobs from Medium. And aside from that, there's other things that have happened in my life and the life of other writers that makes Medium so important. It's why I keep focusing on it. I've had friends get book deals from Medium. I've had publishers from other countries. I've signed deals with them for them to republish and recopy my work because they found me on Medium and eventually led to them finding my books. I've gotten freelance content writing jobs specifically because I've gotten to know a lot of the top writers on Medium, and this just happened organically through me posting stuff that was really good and then engaging with writers I liked, leaving comments on their posts, replying to other comments on other people's posts, things like that. And then organically, once you build this network, oftentimes when someone you know gets a job, the company will be asking for other people. So who do you think they're going to refer if the company who just hired them is looking for somebody else to write? They're going to refer people they know. And they're going to refer people they know and can trust that can write quality work, and that will help boost their reputation and not sully their reputation, right? So if you want people to refer you, use Medium to prove that you are referral worthy, right? And so going on Medium and practicing blogging is key because it can help you facilitate jobs. But then there's a second reason why just learning to blog in general is a really, really good avenue to becoming a content writer in so many different areas. So like I just mentioned, companies have reached out to me not just to write blog posts, but also to write copy, right? So copywriting is the process of writing words that people use to sell things, right? So if you go to a page for a product and there's a description, those words on that description, that's copy, right? If you get an email promoting a product, that's copy, right? And because I learned how to blog, I kind of seamlessly got my way into knowing how to do some of these other forms of writing pretty well. Like, I've studied copywriting to a degree. I've read some copywriting books, but I'm not like a copy writer per se. But I can still write a pretty damn good sales page. And I've written some really good sales pages, and people have said, wow, you must have really a lot of copy experience, and I don't. Really, a lot. The reason that I learned that I'm decent at writing copy is because, especially this is like the process that I teach in my program. I've learned what audiences want. I learned how to get inside people's heads. And because of that process, it's easier for me to write copy. And when you learn how to blog, you're learning how to write for an audience. That requires you to figure out what your audience wants, and for you to deliver it to them, and for you to get feedback that you are properly delivering it to them in the form of views, claps, money, etc. Right? So going through that feedback loop of learning what readers want, giving it to them, seeing whether or not it works, that gives you the blueprint for all other forms of writing, right? It gives you the blueprint for writing copy, for writing emails. This is unrelated, but it even gives you the blueprint for doing things like writing books, right? So the practice that I got from blogging helped me have the stamina and the writing habit to do much, much, much longer form projects, right? And those are some things we'll talk about in future videos as well. But I'm telling you, learning how to write for an audience on Medium is this central piece that can help you knock over so many other dominoes. But we can also talk about some specifics that you can use to build your career as a content writer as well. All right, so the next thing you want to do if you want to become a content writer, aside from just writing on Medium and waiting for jobs to come from you, you can start to develop your profile as a freelancer, right? So one of the things you can do is develop a really strong LinkedIn profile, right? So on LinkedIn, a lot of people find me from Medium on LinkedIn specifically. And LinkedIn, again, is another area where people look to source jobs, right? So if you want to be a content writer, have a really sharp bio explaining that you are a content writer for hire, right? So describe the type of work that you do. If you're really smart, what you'd want to do is specialize and focus on a particular niche. That makes it even better for the clients that you want to take on, and it's gonna mean they'll pay you more because you have a deeper understanding of their industry, right? So one of the things that I learned about in this book called $100 Million Offers, right? If you are going to do, if you want to build a clientele, one of the things you want to do, you want to focus on an area that is growing. You want to focus on an area where the competition isn't as high. You want to focus on an area also where your clients have the money to pay you, right? So some companies meet that criteria, but other companies don't, right? So for example, a growing space might be something like the legal marijuana industry, right? I looked on Twitter and I saw someone who built this huge SEO content writing company specifically targeting people who legally sell weed, right? And it's a growing market. Obviously, like eventually all 50 states are going to legalize weed. We pretty much all know that. So it's becoming, even smoking weed is becoming very mainstream and it's not taboo anymore. So that's a growing industry. There's not a ton of competition yet because a ton of people haven't thought of writing articles about marijuana. And also, if you're let's say you're going to be an SEO content writer where you're writing content to help people rank on search engines, the weed industry, since it's growing, it's lower competition for SEO, which means that you can help your clients rank faster and help them make money faster, right? And then also, clearly, the established companies in those industries have piles of cash, right? And they have the means to pay you. So those are some things to think about when it comes to specializing in a niche, right? You want to avoid companies that are very early. Like you don't want to write for startups, because usually startups are very cash strapped, and then the likelihood of the business surviving isn't really that high. So you want to focus with a business that's already established, that already has cash flow, and then find a niche that meets those criteria. It's growing, it has people that want to pay you, and the competition isn't super high, right? So you build your profile, you specialize in a niche, and then on your profile you put I'm a content writer for hire, I specialize in this industry. You put a couple links, samples of your writing. You And then the rest of that profile is not so much you talking about you, it's you describing what you're going to do for the customer, for the client, right? So on your LinkedIn profile, you'll briefly put your credentials, and then after that you'll say, okay, here's what I'm going to help you do. I'm going to write articles that are going to help you get traffic to your website. That traffic to your website is going to help you get more leads. Those leads are going to help you get more sales. My content writing will help you rank on search engines, which will get you leads or traffic, leads, and sales, right? So a lot of people, when they write bios, they make the mistake of writing way too much about themselves. First, define who you are helping, and then define how you help, right? So for example, let's say you want to specialize in that niche. Your bio could say, my name is Io, and I help legal marijuana businesses grow their traffic, leads, and sales through content writing, right? So by the time you're on LinkedIn and you go to search and pitch a marijuana company, if they read your profile and see that you're matched specifically to their niche, are they going to be more likely to hire you, and are they going to be more likely to pay you a higher rate that you want to command? Of course, right? So a lot of the clients that I work with are companies who talk about they blog about personal development, business, marketing, etc. as a means to grow their traffic and get leads. So that's naturally in line with the topics that I was already writing about to begin with. So essentially, I just write what is a typical blog post that I would write on Medium, and then I just give it to them and pay them instead of getting money from the partner program. And then the good thing about that is at $600 a post, I make a good chunk of coin on Medium, but I'm never guaranteed that much money per post at all. So it's a nice foundation and a nice hedge that keeps my income floor relatively high, right? So after you have a LinkedIn bio, perhaps you might want to set up a blog with, a lot of the same things, samples of your writing, a description of what you can do. And then even if you're on Medium itself, when you're posting, in your call to action, your CTA, which is at the end of your post, your CTA is when you tell people what you want them to do, right? So in your CTA, you could have a sign up to your email list, but you could also say, hey, I am a writer for hire specializing in this industry. Contact me at this email address if you want to talk about jobs. So that's another thing you can do. So you have a call to action set up, you have a nice LinkedIn profile set up, you have a website with a portfolio set up, then you're practicing your skills on Medium. Some clients can trickle in from there, and then if you want to do outreach, you'll have things that'll be able to help you when you're doing your outreach, right? So when it comes to outreach, cold pitching, they call it, which is sending an email to a company you don't know to try to get them on the phone so you could sell your services to them. The number one way to get good at cold pitching is to actually seem like you've taken even the smallest amount of time to understand the company that you're pitching to, right? So yes, there is something to be said about making a template of sorts, but if you're going to reach out, always to a degree customize that template so the customer knows that you're interested in them particularly, right? So I get cold pitches to my emails all the time, right? So I'll get a cold pitch that'll say, hey, IOTheAuthor.com. You're not going to use my name. You don't know me. You haven't read any of my stuff. You're just spamming me. Instant delete, right? All it takes is to create, some sort of like it's called a relational anchor, right? So just prove that you have some level of familiarity with who you're talking to, right? So you can build relational anchors in such a simple way. Just find out something that the company's up to and reference it, and that's pretty much enough. So you could say, hey, I see your company, I read this press release about you and so was awesome. It seems like you're a company that XYZ, you're a growing brand. You see the vision of the future, how many benefits there are to legalize marijuana, et cetera, and just make it clear that you know them to a degree where it just looks like you looked them up. Then the rest of your pitch could be very simple. This is what I do. I help businesses like yours. Here are some samples of my writing. Would love to get you on a call via Zoom and talk about how I can help you, right? So for the vast majority of it, even with a good pitch, you're not going to land that many calls, right? So, but you have to go out, and if you're really wanting to become a content writer, you got to do the outreach and do the work, right? So if you want to have, instead of just inbound leads and you want to use this process, write a decent pitch, pitch 100 companies. Maybe 10 of those companies are going to respond to you. Maybe 3 of them will get on the phone with you, and maybe you can close 1 to 3 of those prospects, right? And depending on the type of retainer you can get, you could see how it doesn't take much, especially if you're charging $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 a post. It doesn't take that many clients to put together a full-time business, but it's up to you to decide whether or not you're willing to put in the work. Are you willing to do 100 pitches a week to get 10 calls, to get 10 responses, to get 3 calls, to get 1 to 3 clients? Are you willing to build your acumen in your resume on places like Medium so that you have quality work that you can use to charge more money, so that you can use to have social proof that you're a good writer, so that you can have connections for those jobs, so you can get inbound leads on top of your outbound leads, right? So it's more than possible to become a content writer. It's actually a really cool strategy, and it's one of the quickest ways you can go from 0 to full-time as a writer. Julie Rain is a very good example of this. She went from 0 to roughly 6 figures in a year, because on top of it, she started with Medium, right? Then she focused on building a freelance company. Then she had some other monetization things that she cobbled together where she was able to make 6 figures very fast, but she ruthlessly executed, right? So matter of fact, I'll link to her article specifically about being a freelancer and a couple of the things that she's done, because she's a really good resource. But yeah, ruthless execution is how you can become a full-time content writer. Okay, that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. That helps everyone know, and that helps the algorithm know that it's a good video, so other people who need it can find it. Leave a comment below for some video ideas you want me to make next, and I'll make those. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, all that good stuff. A couple videos should be popping up in front of your face right now. Check those out, and I will see you on the next video.